I don't necessarily believe that kids always need to be rewarded for chores. They need to be part of the family. We work together, both to train them to do what they need to do, but also just to manage life with a lot of people in the house. But rewards are helpful, and God did set up the world to be what a man sows, he will reap.
Mhm.
And it makes it a fun and tangible way to see when you do good things, you get good things.
Welcome to the Simplified Organization Podcast, 15-minute conversations with real moms about managing our homes and family life cheerfully to the glory of God. We can actually enjoy housework and love being homemakers when we focus on truth and work with gratitude. I'm Mystie Winckler, author of the book Simplified Organization, Learn to Love What Must Be Done. I write and podcast at Simply Convivial, and I run Convivial Circle, a community helping women to excel at homemaking and do life cheerfully. And today I'm joined by one of our members from inside Convivial Circle, Anna Laura Farnham. Anna and her husband Gandalf live in Indiana and have 6 children ranging in age from toddler to teenager. Before kids, she earned 2 music degrees in oboe performance and worked in a corporate office, but she set aside those careers to focus on being a mom and homemaker. She and her family stay busy with church fellowship, several sports, music, reading, and generally being creative. So thank you so much for coming back on the show with me, Anna Laura. So in Convivial Circle, in August, we're going to start Baby Step Bingo again, which is one of our community's favorite challenges. And I know that you have used Baby Step Bingo, not just for yourself, but also with your kids. And so I just love to hear how you applied it that way and what's worked, what hasn't worked. And
Yeah, so I've been through at least a couple rounds of the baby step bingo. I've lost count, but I know that sometimes it's come at a point in my life where I really needed to focus on baby steps, whether it was pregnancy or postpartum. And sometimes the specific baby steps I needed to do were maybe a little different. So I may not have gotten the blackout, but at least getting some of those bingos along the way was encouraging. And one of the things I learned along the way was how some of those tasks are really not a big deal if you just do them, but to have them on the chart as a suggestion, hey, go remove the cobwebs or wipe down the washing machine. They're not things you necessarily think of when you feel overwhelmed or busy, but when it's on the list, you're like, oh, I can just go do that and check it off. So it turns out to be pretty simple. And that mindset of learning to focus on baby steps has definitely been a game changer in homemaking, because my tendency would be to, for instance, see a big mess, step over it. Oh no, I need to get around to that. Whereas now, oh, I can pick up that one thing that I stepped over. I always have to remind myself of that. It's not that I'm forever changed, but it's in my mind to be reminded. As I've learned these different things through, I've been in the convivial circle for a few years now, I'm trying to pass along some of these to my children as well. Some of the things I've done with them that I've learned in Convivial Circle are the Baby Step Bingo and the decluttering challenge. With the decluttering challenge, which is 20 sessions of 10 minutes of decluttering, I've given them their own charts, and I let them take more than a month to work through that because that's a lot for a kid. But we make a special reward at the end. They get to go on what we call a declutter date with mama and go out for a meal or a treat. So that's something they look forward to. And it teaches them that those 10 minutes can make a big difference in their room or in the living spaces. So we've been doing that for a while, on and off, and not constantly. One thing that we have going on a regular basis, pretty regular, is to have a chore chart. So I'm trying to teach them the idea of routines. So they have certain things that they're responsible for each day. Just like I try to have certain tasks I do in the morning as a morning routine and in the evening routine and mealtime routines. They have certain tasks that they're supposed to do. And by having that on a list, they can check it off. They know what the expectations are. And I think that's really good because we can get to the point where everything feels chaotic when they don't know what they're supposed to do, or I just wish they were helping, but I don't know what to assign. To take the time to think it through and make a plan really helps, because then we can point back at the chart. But the thing with the daily chore charts, I usually print it out as a week at a time and they check them off. And there are some rewards involved in that. Sometimes like it's a little boring, or you get busy, you start ignoring it. So it helps to change it up. And that's when something like baby step bingo can really be great. It makes it fresh and exciting. One of the times that I made a bingo chart was before a holiday and a trip. So examples of tasks that I included were vacuuming a vehicle or helping pack their clothes. But there might also be one-off tasks like fill up the soap dispenser, things that don't need to be done every day. Right now, we have a summer chore bingo, and that includes not only chores, declutter a certain space in your room. It also, I've included some other things that I would like them to do this summer. A couple of the squares are about practicing music or memorizing a Bible verse. And I have a few in there that are oriented towards helping and loving their siblings, because that's always something to work on when you're all together, especially for us in summertime. So one of it is help a sibling with a chore with their permission, or ask for forgiveness, because I'm sure that by the end of summer, they'll have a chance to do that. Read a psalm. I'm pretty sure that one was on the baby step bingo we did as well. So it's nice to just mix it up. And when there is something that I'd like to have them do more than once, like maybe more than one time of decluttering, I mix it up on the chart where I'll put them in different spots. And I might indicate declutter the top of your dresser or declutter the floor, something defined. And then they know that when they get a bingo, there's rewards involved. The typical thing that we do is download a song. That's not something that's super expensive, but it's fun to build your library of music. And they can choose a song, and sometimes we've done some other things like maybe a candy or something. Right now we're working towards earning songs. And then when they get a blackout, they'll get a treat like a, ice cream or donut or something like that. So those are some rewards that we find to be pretty motivating. One of the advantages of doing the chore bingo to switch things up is it gives them ideas of what things they can do and a little bit of autonomy in picking those. I could suggest or instruct them to go check their chart. Like, it's time to do something. How about you go pick something off your bingo chart? And they get to pick something and check it off. And they like to see those bingos add up. And I asked them, what do you like about the bingo? And they say they like that it's different tasks from the normal. So that changes it up, gives them some variety. And they like, of course, that they're earning something.
Do all the kids have the same bingo card, or do different kids have different things on their bingo cards?
Very good question. I start with a basic one that I'll make, and then I will edit it slightly for each kid. I'll change around the order just a little bit, but I'll also customize a little bit. For example, my son has different areas in his room that he could tackle, or I might give him a task that I wouldn't give to one of his sisters, or I have write a letter on there. So one of them has write a letter to a certain person, things like that, where I do customize it, but they're going to have mostly the same basic things, but it's not identical. So if they were doing chores the same, they're not going to get their bingos at the same time. And that makes it fun. I even ask them if they like it different. They like them to be different. And there's another thing I do to customize for one of my younger daughters. Now, my 2-year-old does not participate in the bingo yet, but for my 5-year-old, what I've done is I've made a 4x4 chart for her instead of 5x5. And that makes it a little more manageable for her, makes it a little more age appropriate. And her things tend to be a little simpler, but she gets to participate.
At that age, they just love to be doing the same things that the older siblings are doing.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of the 2-year-old, even though she doesn't have a chart. She is at the age where she likes to imitate. She will go grab the broom and she wants to sweep, or she wants to help put away the silverware. So I encourage that. So it's not that she is not involved in the life of the family chores. It's just not on a structured basis yet.
So when the kids are working on their bingo cards, do you also have one for yourself, or is it, more just you do the baby step bingo, with the community when that fits in, or have you made your own card as well?
I have not actually made my own. I tend to like working from more of a task list that reminds me what I need to do each day. But I have been thinking that I do need to make one for myself, because I keep thinking of these little things like, oh, I need to declutter in that area, or I need to wash the hairbrushes. There's one that popped in my mind. Oh, I need to make one for myself too. And I think the kids would think that was fun if I was playing along.
Yeah. That's the fun thing about making it a game, is it just changes that group dynamic, and what looks like boring drudge work in a single file list, you put it in a grid and suddenly it's a game.
Yes, it's really helpful to change things up. And even with the declutter challenge, checking things off towards a goal even feels a little bit more gamified than the daily list. Now with the weekly list, they do get a point for everything they check off. And I add some extra motivation if they do something every day of the week, not counting Sunday, they get a bonus star. Or if they do all the tasks in one day, they get a bonus star. And those bonuses are actually worth more points than simply doing a single task, to try to show the benefit of being consistent. So that's more for the that I want to have as routines and habits for them. And then those points translate to prizes of some sort, maybe small cash or books, things like that. One thing that I would like to point out is that I don't necessarily believe that kids always need to be rewarded for chores. They need to be part of the family. We work together, both to train them to do what they need to do, but also just to manage life with a lot of people in the house. But rewards are helpful. And God did set up the world to be what a man sows, he will reap.
Mhm.
And it makes it a fun and tangible way to see when you do good things, you get good things. And to define that to certain tasks is helpful.
Yeah, it's not just mom's making me do this so that she gets what she wants and we're just her slave labor.
And I'm not necessarily a person who feels like I can just manage all these people and all these things and keep it all in my head and keep all the plates spinning. And so these are things that we're finding as ways to manage it. And it's not perfect. They don't always check the things off. They don't always do it cheerfully, but guess what? I don't either. I don't always check it. I don't always do it cheerfully, but we're in that process together.
Yeah. I love how you've taken something that was helpful for you and translated it into something that is a training tool with your kids. And when we have that camaraderie, everyone pulling together on the same team, it does take years, and it does take a lot of ups and downs and guidance along the way, but it is so fruitful for us and for our kids.
And one of the things that I'm also trying to pass along is that inherent reward of, hey, doesn't it look great? The entry looks great now. Or isn't it nice to have a room you have space to play in? So focusing on those benefits from actually getting the stuff done. And I found that when we have, if we're going to have someone over, they do find it very motivating to clean up because they're excited to have friends over. Which reminds me, there's another slightly gamified technique that we've done a few times. I think the term is a Kanban method. That would be like the official way that I've modified from that, but I think that's the term for it, where you have the tasks on, it might be a Post-it or something like that, and it's things that need to be done in process and complete.
Mm-hmm.
Modified it is, I'll make a list of all the tasks that need to be done. And this is something we've done for a single day, like a preparation, maybe 2 days, like the day before and the morning of. We're preparing for an event. I wouldn't want this as an ongoing technique, but it's really helpful for the push of we have all these tasks to do. And a lot of them are cleaning tasks, EHAP this room or clear this. It might be set the table or chop the veggies, the food, and the cleanup. And so I break that down into individual tasks, write it on a piece of paper. Post-its would obviously work, but we happen to have those magnetic toys that are in squares, which are perfect because they're colorful. And so we put that up on one side of the fridge. Here are all the tasks, and the kids like to color coordinate. All the bathroom tasks are this color, all the food tasks are this color. And then each kid can take one, and they've got a little clipboard they can put on there as they're working on it. And then they put it on the other side of the fridge. They'll put their names up at the top and then what tasks they have done. And so even though there's not a reward system in that, they can see who's done tasks like, oh, we did that one together. Do we put it between? Who gets credit for that? So it's inherently a competition, but also just encouraging to see the things get done.
Yeah, the one list gets smaller and your list of things that you've accomplished get longer. That's really clever. I like that. My kids would
And
like that one.
there too, although I'm sometimes I'm doing other things. I'll usually get a couple over there under my name as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anna Laura. This was so helpful for just getting ideas for being creative with getting the little things done and noticing the benefits of working together and getting small things done, which is the point of baby step bingo. And it applies kind of across the board, across life, really. So our baby step bingo month begins in August. Everyone will get a bingo card, and there are prizes for your first bingo and even stickers and bookmarks in the mail if you finish the complete blackout bingo card. Plus, inside the community, there is encouragement and chat, conversations like this one with Anna Laura about applying these ideas more broadly in our home and really enjoying getting things done around the house and investing ourselves in our home and family. If you want to invest yourself as a homemaker, we help you do that inside Convivial Circle, and Baby Step Bingo is a great month to begin. Just go to simplyconvivial.com and click the green enroll button, or find a link in the description below. Every day inside Convivial Circle, we help one another repent, rejoice, repeat.